with you today. I'm coming at you to talk to you about making today count. That is John Maxwell's book that we're going over this quarter at Elevate Real Estate here at the team. And I had the pleasure of teaching on this chapter just Monday. Turned out great. I didn't do a whole lot of planning for it, just kind of what stirred up in me came out, and same as I'm doing right now. Making today count is so important. You see so many people pushing hard in these different areas in life, business, finances. You hear about that all the time. But so many times we don't take much time to think about, how am I making today count for my family? What am I doing today that's going to give me a successful marriage 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the road? What am I doing today with my children that is going to help them to be healthy adults, even though they're just little squirts today? And so this is a great book. I recommend it. Put it on your list. If you don't read it today, maybe next year. Just put it in there and get to it at some point, because a life is built on today's. And so if you're not doing what you're supposed to today, I was literally just eating lunch with a fella here on the team. I'm eating a salad, and he just had a big baked potato loaded with barbecue sauce and all. It looked great. Made me hungry. So I went and got a salad, ate a salad, and he said, "You on a diet?" And so we started talking about calories and some of those things. And the challenge with not just eating, but what we're doing today is it can seem like it doesn't necessarily matter in the overall scheme of things. What decision, if I eat a little extra sweets today, or if I don't spend a little extra time with the wife this week, those things you don't necessarily notice negative side effects right away. And when those are delayed, it can end up causing major disasters later. And so when he progressed to tell me about a 33-year-old he knows that the doctors told him he wouldn't be around in a couple years if he didn't change what he was eating. And so these things are so important, but family is on the top of that list. So many times, folks get to the end of their life, and it doesn't matter at that point if they created a lot of wealth, how many cars they have in the driveway. They're going to leave it all behind. And what matters, though, is how they love the people that they were given in life, who's beside them in those last days, making that as sweet as possible for them. And so I ask you, what are you doing today to make today count in the area of your family? Are you being purposeful and intentional? Some of the things that John mentions in here is putting your family first on your calendar. Put them on there. Just make that a priority. Work will still be there. It's not going anywhere, I promise you. And we do have things we have to take care of and things we have to tend to, but put your family on that calendar. Put them as a priority. Make them a priority. And walk that out, and the work will still get done, and the bills will still get paid. You'll be responsible in those areas because of your love for the family, but don't let your family suffer because of you trying to do those other things as well. And so it's a balancing act, I understand, and there's different times and different seasons. But so John starts out by talking about, as in his upper 30s, he's looking around and he's got friends that he's had for years, and he's watching their marriages begin to fall. He's watching one break up over here, one break up over there. And some he thought were pretty strong marriages. And so he felt he had a good marriage, but he said, hold on, I'm going to stop, and I'm going to take an account of what kind of marriage I do have. And so as he did that, he looked and saw that he worked an awful lot, and that Margaret may not be getting the time that she deserves and that she needs for them to have a good, strong relationship. And so he began to make changes to his schedule and to ensure that down the road that they continue to be a couple that has a healthy marriage, that is walking out the kind of relationships that they wanted to have when they first got together. Over 50% of marriages end in divorce. And so what are you doing that's going to cause your marriage to not be one of those? You need to think about that. We need to think about that, to apply some things to help that to be the case, that we're one of those that continues on to have a good, long-lasting marriage. And then when it comes to the way of children, not everyone has children, but everybody knows young people and has young people around them for the most part. And so you can invest into them if you're not a parent. There's so many kids that just need extra voices in their life, healthy voices of encouragement. I know my kids have a couple aunts that don't have kids, but they're always loving on and reaching out to and encouraging my kids in good directions. And it means the world to me as their father. And so you could be that for somebody. If you are a parent, then just understand that your kids are watching you, and generations will be affected by the way that they model after you. And so it's so important what we do in front of our children and what we show them. It's more so than what we tell them. We can tell them not to do something, but if they see us doing it, I believe it's John, I know it is, that said people do what people see. And so that comes out concerning our parenting. And so, what are the things that you're doing that you're like, I wish my kids wouldn't see me do that? Is it texting while you drive, smoking, or not taking care of what kind of your health, not exercising? And so, think about those things a little bit today, and it can help make your parenting have a stronger effect in a good way in your children and your grandchildren, because that is, they're going to go on and teach your grandchildren. And so anyway, there's just a lot of good things in this book. Take some time to think about what we spoke about today, and take some time to pick up this little book. We like these little books on the team because it doesn't take long to get through, but yet and we can retain it well, and it's just a good read. So hope you're having a great day. I hope you're already being very intentional about the things that you're doing, the way that you're living towards your family. Family is a gift from God, and we're to be good stewards of it. And so I've enjoyed coming to be with you today, and I hope this has stirred you up. What can you do to be more intentional on loving on your family, teaching them, showing them a good and right way to live? Have a great day.